Well, at least you didn't use the one when I'm dancing.
Oh, that's my favorite.
Yeah, I know, what's your favorite?
Yeah.
I have to find that file and delete it. Happy Friday, everybody. The 16th day of February 2018. It is a Friday. If you stand on your tiptoes, you can see the weekend from here. I am Dan Kuntz, your host for the next hour. Steve Hare, our news director, to my immediate left. Kat is in the control room. Happy Friday. I feel good.
Thank goodness Kat is in the control room.
I know.
You know, what would we do without her?
Well, we wouldn't have a show, would
That's
be
right.
number one.
Absolutely.
So she pushes all the buttons. She makes sure Steve and I stays on the straight and narrow, which is never an easy job. Who's kidding who?
Yeah.
And then she decompresses on the weekend by joining up with the Apple City Roller Derby and just beating the heck out of other people on Saturday. On Sundays at the Fest Hall. So,
that's a rough sport.
yeah, I have so much respect for Kat because,
I do, too.
first of all, it's a rough sport. It's a physical sport, lot to it. And number two, I don't understand it. I don't. And I have tremendous respect for people who do sports and participate in sports in such a way that they're just so into it, and I don't get it. I have respect for that. So, like skiing. I mean,
I think they ought to make it an Olympic event, actually.
That's not a bad idea.
I think it'd be more entertaining, like the speed skating and
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
You know, or mix figure skating with roller derby. Now that would be fun.
You know what we should do? The Wenatchee Valley should submit a bid for the next Summer Olympics that's available.
Why not?
I think we take a run at it.
I think we got all the venues.
Yeah, well, no, we don't. But I mean, I say we just spend
Maybe
a
not
couple.
the accommodations.
Yeah,
but, you know.
we're a little short on hotel room space. But they can, you know, a couple of athletes can crash at my place, and you got a spare bedroom.
Where would you
so.
put the torch?
Good question. That's a very good question. I don't know. In our studio?
Up on top of the Cascadian, maybe.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah.
How did we get on this topic? Happy Friday, everybody. Great show for you today. We normally, of course, on Fridays, we promise you a 5-star show. We're going to deliver today, or double your television pleasure viewing back. Our friends from the Pybus Public Market, where communities meet, is back again today. Steve Robinson is the GM. He handles the day-to-day operations, but he's answerable to a board, a charitable board, and he brought a board member with him. Kristen Lodge will be joining us. They're in the middle of their big remodel of that little side annex meeting space.
Oh boy, are they.
They're working on that. They're also remodeling where Steve works. Of course, if you've noticed, if you ever go to the Pybus Public Market, Steve's never in his office. He's always out and about, milling about, visiting people. He's not into being desk bound.
He's a hands-on guy.
He is a hands-on guy. He is absolutely a hands-on guy. And he showed up. They'll be on in the second half of the show. We got lots of sports. The Wenatchee Panther boys basketball season came to an end. They lost to Sunnyside last night. We'll talk about that. The obscure holiday, birthdays, today in history, and Steve has your news. But the top story today is going to be the weather. We have a wind advisory. It's coming up. It's going to be very, very windy for a fairly extended period of time, Steve. The wind advisory, it's pretty serious stuff.
Yeah, oh yeah, we got the Chinook situation here.
Yep.
Temperatures, I guess, are going to go up a little bit.
They're going to go up and then they're going to go down.
Yeah,
We're on a
yeah.
real roller coaster. It's a veritable smorgasbord of weather. It's a buffet, so we will belly up to the buffet of weather bars here in just a couple of minutes. But first, around north central Washington we go with the Valley View cameras. Always batting leadoff, to use a baseball terminology, is the Valley itself. And that is, of course, from the Cross camera. That's a camera is located about 50 feet to the east of the Cross that we're also familiar with at the very tip of Wenatchee Heights.
Looking very calm and really kind of bucolic here in our little valley this morning. But
Well, let's not get
it's
religion
kind of
involved in this.
deceiving, though, isn't it?
It is. It's very deceiving because it's going to get windy and then it's going to be cold. We got everything coming your way. Good morning, Wenatchee Valley. Thanks for starting your day with us here on the NCW Life Channel. From this point forward, Steve, we don't find out until Kat brings them up, and then we discover what we got.
Oh,
And that is, I think, the Manson
the
Water
Manson
Tower.
Water Tower
That is
camp.
absolutely correct. On a beautiful day up in Lake Chelan. I know I mentioned this before. We are the #1 rated live local TV show in the greater Manson area.
Who are we up against there?
I don't know. I think Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. I'm not sure. Camera number 3. What are we looking at? We're looking at the Badger Mountain, I think. That looks like, or is that Jump Off? That's Badger. That's Badger Mountain.
Badger
So
Mountain.
that's up there a ways. That's one of her higher cameras. So yeah, Caitlin says it was a lot cooler 20 minutes ago, and I can see that. We're not having that great, unbelievable, golden, beautiful sunrise that we've had the last few mornings because we do have a few clouds out there. Good morning, Badger Mountain, and we are the #2 rated live local TV show in the greater Badger Mountain area. That's the one market that Mr. Rogers has us beat in the ratings. Camera 4.
That's only one elevation, though.
That's what, you know what that is? That's Billy Goat zoomed in, I bet.
Is that Billy
Yep,
Goat?
that's Billy Goat, but that's not, you can't see the Met House and you can't see Pateras. Nicely done, Cat. As we mentioned before,
See
we can,
Bridgeport, though.
yeah, you can. We can move these cameras around. We can go up and down and back and forth and zoom in and zoom out. I mean, they're completely remote controllable, like you are, Steve. And so that's one of our favorite cameras, the belly goat camera, but we zoom that in just a little bit. So you can't quite make out the new Brewster Golf Course, which I love so much.
See the orchards down there below,
Yep,
though?
the orchards are just sitting there going, is it spring yet? I got some growing to do, ladies and gentlemen. So there are your Valley View cameras from around north central Washington, courtesy of Localtel Sky-Fi high-speed wireless internet. Let's do your weather forecast. First of all, we'll bring up the graphic of what you can expect over the next 7 days, and that's what you can expect from a graphical standpoint. Today's forecast high of about 50 degrees. The big story today is going to be the wind. It's going to pick up as the day progresses. We do have a wind advisory, Steve. It's not for today, it's tomorrow. There's your Friday winds. Take a look at. That's what we're expecting today, most of it in the afternoon. Then this is the peak wind gusts. The peak wind gusts today. It's going to be stronger tomorrow, believe it or not. That's what we're looking at. There's that strong system that's going to come in and visit us on Saturday and Sunday. You can see where the winds are going to be at their heaviest, and we're going to be right at that little area where we're going to have a little bit of light snow and then rain, and the one consistent thing on Saturday is going to be the wind. The wind advisory goes from 11 a.m. tomorrow, Steve, until 10 o'clock tomorrow night. That's a big window of strong wind. In fact, Saturday's winds could see gusts as high as 44 miles an hour, and the wind will be very consistent. Westerly winds, Steve, 23 to 28 miles an hour, pretty much all day, with the occasional gust popping up there, 40, 44 miles an hour. A lot of wind tomorrow. Yeah, a lot of wind tomorrow. Then the wind dies down Saturday night a little bit, not much. It really starts dying down on Sunday. That's when it really starts dying down.
We've had a windy winter this year.
It has. It's been very windy. And then we get cold. Check out our lows, our high. I'm sorry, this is our high temperatures on Monday. Look how cold it's going to be. Look how cold it's going to be in Wilbur, up there in Wilbur.
Wow.
Yeah, going to be cold. So we have this strong system coming in. It's going to bring us quite a bit of wind. Wind starts today, lasts pretty much today. It will die down tonight. Tonight will be calm, Steve. And then Saturday, we have a little spittle of snow. It's going to be gone very quickly, maybe mixed with rain. And then starting about 10 a.m. on Saturday, it's going to start getting windy, and it's going to blow all day Saturday, all into the evening Saturday night, and spilling over into Sunday. So a heads up on that. It's going to be windy. And then we get that cold because it's going to scour all the warm air out of it, that Chinook that we're talking about, and then it gets really cold.
Okay.
So there you go.
Mountains.
Now, mountains are bad. Mountains are bad.
Going to be hammered.
Oh, geez, not good
It's
at all.
already starting. In fact, Snoqualmie is closed eastbound.
Eastbound is closed right now on I-90. You are on it, Steve. And westbound, chains are required unless you have an all-wheel drive roadway. Compact snow, slush, ice, snowing hard, snowing. It continues to snow. It is closed eastbound. I-90 is at milepost 47 because they've had spinouts and blockings, and they just can't keep ahead of it. So they got to close it down. Not only can they clear out the traffic, but it also gives the snow plows a chance to do their best to get a hold of the game. It's going to snow all day. It's going to snow all weekend at the mountain passes, as a matter of fact. So you're going, okay, well, I need to go eastbound. You're not going to do it. You can't go eastbound, however, on Stevens Pass, but traction tires are required on Stevens. Somewhere down there is a road.
It's like heavy wet snow that's falling.
Heavy wet snow. Snowing in all the passes, by the way. Stevens Pass, right now, traction tires are required. Compact snow and ice in places, and yes, it's snowing. And wouldn't you know it, it's snowing on Blue Pass, too. Traction tires are advised there. Roadways mostly bare and wet, with some snow and ice in places. It is snowing on Blewett Pass. Your forecast for the mountain passes today, 3 to 7 inches of snow. Tonight, 3 to 7 inches of snow. Saturday, 11 to 17 inches of snow in the mountain passes on Saturday. Skiers rejoice, commuters cry. Saturday night, 4 to 8 inches of snow, and it just keeps happening Sunday, an additional 2 to 4 inches of snow.
Kind of reminds me of the stock market where you get the depletion and then now we're replenishing that snow.
Yes, it was a sell-off, and we went from a bear market to a bull market and back to a bear market again. There is a winter weather advisory for the mountain passes, as you might imagine, until 7 o'clock tonight, and then that switches over to the more serious winter storm watch. So winter weather advisory is like, okay, well, it's not good. And the winter storm watches, it's really not good. So that goes for the rest of the weekend.
By the way, I want to wish everybody a Happy New Year. It's the Lunar New Year.
Oh, it's the Lunar, do they still call it a Chinese New Year, or is that not acceptable anymore?
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
Today is the Lunar New Year.
Happy New Year to you too, Steve. I hope you have a great Lunar New Year.
Yeah.
So.
It's gonna be, well, that's why I'm dressed like this. I'm going to go out and chop some wood and get things ready for the
Steve's an outdoor man. He just he hunts and fishes. He makes his own food and all that stuff. He makes his own food at Costco, is what he does.
Ooh, don't say those are fighting words.
10 minutes after the hour on a Friday edition of Wake Up Wenatchee Valley, the man in charge of filling your brain with the information you need to know to start your day is Steve Hare. He will do the honors in 1 minute. It's Wake Up Wenatchee Valley, live from Studio 4 in downtown Wenatchee on the NCW Live channel.
We know crunch.
Collins Fashions has a fabulous selection of clothing, handbags, jewelry, and shoes for all events in your life, such as work, errands, celebration, travels, etc., etc. And our professional caring staff will assist you in coordinating your wardrobe and choose a perfect gift for that special someone. Our many fabulous brands include Joseph Ribkoff, Tribal, Jag Jeans, Tommy Bahama, and we are your Brighton headquarters for North Central Washington. We are grateful for our wonderful customers, and we look forward to seeing you at Collins, where fun and fashion meet in downtown Wenatchee.
And now it's time for your local news update with Steve Hare.
And here are the stories we're following on this Friday morning. First of all, Wenatchee School District Superintendent Brian Flonas issuing a statement yesterday in response to Wednesday's fatal school shooting in Parkland, Florida. In an open letter to the district, schools, families, students, and staff, Flonas expressed sympathy for the victims. He wrote that every school should be a safe haven for students and staff, and that everyone needs to be assured that our students are protected and that our schools are prepared to respond in an emergency situation. Also, Flonas added that the district has worked hard over the past 4 years to make improvements in school safety and security, and he stressed that the best prevention is early warning and said parents and students can help by informing school staff if they see or hear of any students who might exhibit behavioral or mental health issues that could lead to acts of violence. You can see the entire scope of that letter on our website at ncwlife.com. A one-vehicle rollover claimed the life of an Okanagan County woman. The accident happened around 6:45 Thursday morning, 1 mile south of Nespelem on State Route 155. That roadway was closed for several hours as a result of that collision. Victim has been identified as 38-year-old Bridget Boyd, again of Nespelem. Boyd, apparently southbound, when she crossed over the northbound lane into the shoulder. Car overcorrected to the right, struck an embankment, and rolled over. A vehicle came to rest on its wheels, and Boyd was ejected from that vehicle. It's unknown at this time if drugs or alcohol may have been involved in the crash. The exact cause of the crash is still under investigation by the State Patrol. NCW Life talked to several people yesterday about the state's death penalty and the legislation making its way through the legislature that would do away with it. We're here in downtown Wenatchee talking to folks about the Senate action last night on the bill to abolish the state's death penalty. We wanted to get a gauge on how people in Wenatchee feel about that. So what are your thoughts on the Senate's action last night banning the death penalty? That bill's now on its way to the House. What are your thoughts on that?
And that's in Washington State?
That's in Washington State.
Well, you know, the death penalty is one of those kind of like abortion. It's really a tough issue. I totally agree. There's certain people that just shouldn't be around, and unfortunately we had a school shooting yesterday that's one of those things that comes to mind, that, and there is a death penalty in Florida. But at the same time, I'm always concerned that even if it's a 1 in a million shot, I never want to put someone to death that could be innocent. And we have seen cases where somebody's been on death row for years, and then based on new DNA evidence, found out that they weren't really guilty. And so I don't ever want to be the person that put somebody to death that really wasn't guilty. So benefit of the doubt, I guess.
Well, I think ultimately it comes down to upholding the law. If indeed someone is guilty of the crime that fits that capital punishment, I think that I guess I'm for it.
You know, I think that it was a little bit on the older side of things. You know, I think that it was part of our country and how it ran stuff. But I think that there's some wicked people on this earth, and so sometimes, in rare occasions, it might be appropriate. But luckily, we haven't had that here in Washington. So it'd be interesting to see what happens for the near future.
How about you? Do you have an opinion on that?
Well, I know when people do end up getting the death penalty, it takes such a long time and there's so many appeals and things like that. It probably is just going to end up saving money, honestly, getting rid of it. So, yeah, I don't think it's very efficient as it is anyway. So I think probably it'll maybe be better. I'm not totally sure, but I guess we'll see.
In general, I have always opposed the death penalty. I believe that it really is a cruel and unusual punishment. I believe that people, if they're convicted of a crime and they serve the time and they get life, I think it's worse to just be incarcerated for life than you're dead, because you're dead, you're dead. I mean, you pay for your crime and you're dead. But if you're in jail, you are there waiting to die forever. So I believe that that's more suitable for a person as more punishment than just killing a person. I just don't believe in killing anybody.
Those are but a few of the opinions we got here on the streets of downtown Wenatchee. As for the bill itself, the death penalty abolishment is now headed to the House, where it is expected to pass. And then Governor Jay Inslee has already indicated that he is opposed to the death penalty and will likely sign that bill if it crosses his desk. Steve Hare, NCW Life News. Also this morning, the Wenatchee Valley Humane Society is hosting a live auction tomorrow night. Megan McPherson has that story for us.
We are here with Don Davies, the Executive Director of the Wenatchee Humane Society. Don, can you tell us about what's going on this weekend?
We're having our annual auction for the animals. This is our biggest and funnest fundraiser of the year. And the theme this year is Life's a Beach. So we're encouraging everyone to dress up like your favorite parrot head or wear your flip-flops, put your Aloha shirts on and come on down. It's a silent auction. We have about 100 items in our silent auction. And then we have a live auction with some amazing getaways and dinner, lots of experiences, about 20 of those. Our auctioneer is Cody Hodge. He's local, so he's a lot of fun. And a buffet dinner, and it's all kind of island style, so only $65. And people, if you want to get your tickets, you can visit WenatcheeHumane.org or give us a call at 662-9577. The annual auction for the animals helps support the mission of the Humane Society, which is to protect, educate, and adopt. We have nearly 5,000 animals that come into the shelter every year, and we do everything we can to give them the best experience that they have. We give them enrichment. We work with behavioral. Many of them need medical attention. They're all spayed and neutered, microchipped, and vaccinated by the time they're rehomed.
The auction will be held Saturday night, February 17, from 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. at the Wenatchee Convention Center. Megan McPherson, NCW Life News.
Well, 2 Wenatchee Valley College students received scholarships yesterday thanks to the Concert in the Garden series at Omi Gardens. Now, the Names Foundation, a creation of Dennis and Beth Dobbs of Haran Estates Winery, were able to provide 2 $1,000 scholarships yesterday in conjunction with that concert series, the work of RLS Productions.
Sure. Oh, it's perfect. Perfect. Okay.
They say rosé.
All right.
We just gave away $2,000, 2 $1,000 scholarships to 2 students at Wenatchee Valley College, one in the graphics department and one in the network administration department. And they are recipients from money that was raised from the RLS Productions Concerts of the Gardens from 2017 year.
It's been a long, busy haul, but really good and informational. Today, I got a $1,000 scholarship from the RLS Foundation, and it's going to be a really, really big opportunity for me as I get to improve my technology as a student as I'm moving through on to university. So it means a lot, especially to be supported by the community in this way. It's really an honor.
My instructor told me about the scholarship, and I applied for it, and I got it. So it means a lot to me because I just don't have to worry so much about finances while I'm trying to study and do well. I do want to do help desk position. I Probably in education and a school district, and I'd like to go around and help people with their computers and fix their computer issues. And also there's the part where you get to help people learn how to use their technology too. So
great opportunity when you can have the something as great as the Concert in the Garden series supporting scholarships at the local college. I mean, that's just it's a win-win for everyone. Get to go enjoy a concert and come and know that you're helping students get to school and helping the local economy.
Well, Robert's provided a wonderful venue here for the Valley with the WUWV Gardens concert series, and we had the opportunity as a winery to be one of the lead sponsors for the series. We immediately jumped on board because we totally believe in the Valley and what we can do together. We have been so fortunate, even in the years with the forest fires, that the weather prevails, the clouds part, the sun comes out, and the talent starts. It's beautiful up there. We're very blessed. Being here and talking with Hannah and Morgan, they're so appreciative of what we were able to do to help them pursue their goals in their career. So it's really fun to be a part of it.
It's incredible. I mean, just to personally meet them, yeah, they're just so thrilled with it, yeah.
And by the way, tickets for that event are on sale for the 5 concert series beginning July 5th this summer at WUWV Gardens. Go to rlsproductions.net, their website, to get those tickets. They're selling pretty fast, by the way. One final item here, Wenatchee's famous Rails and Ales Festival is tonight in Wenatchee. J.C. Beck has more on that story.
I can guarantee you guys 3 things. It's going to be cold, there's going to be good beer, and there's going to be good tricks going down the rails.
Come on down to Orondo Avenue tonight at 5 p.m. to be a part of the 2018 Rails and Ales Festival. This action-packed ski and snowboard competition is in its 4th year and only keeps getting bigger. Well, it's going to be cold, but that's why we have the ales. Expect a big, jolly crowd in a fun family atmosphere, all while watching some of North Central Washington's elite winter sports athletes as they compete for the grand prize money. I spoke with Austin Vizentamer following his championship run on the snowboard.
Tell us a little bit, how did it feel going out there and finding out that you're the grand winner?
Oh, it feels good, man, dude. It was a long day at work up at Stevens Pass. Got the park open over there, so stoked to come out and still make the contest and make everything happen. Shout out to all the boys and our daily crew squad. Check it out on Instagram. They were all killing it out here too. Representing Plain and Stevens Pass, and we're just stoked to be out here and just having a blast with all the rails and everything.
So take a break from watching the Winter Olympics and watch some high-stakes competition on Orondo Avenue. The event will be getting going at 5 p.m., so take off work early. I'm sure your boss won't mind. I'm Jay Seebeck with NCW Life News.
Thanks to Jay for that, and of course, coming up Monday, we'll get some more images from the Rails and Ales from this weekend, and again, that's tonight down in South Orondo.
Big party, big
Always
party.
a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Great times.
Last year they didn't have to worry about snow because remember last winter we had lots of snow that stuck around for a long time. But they're going to truck in a bunch of snow from Mission Ridge. They actually have a big pile waiting for them. And later on today they just start bringing in trucks and trucks of snow. And that last little block of Orondo gets shut down between the Avenue and Worthen Street, and they have a party.
Should have a lot more snow added to that pile today, I would imagine.
Yeah.
Up the hill.
Yeah, oh yeah, they're getting hammered up in the mountain passes. If you just joined us, it's 30 degrees outside our studios. It's going to be windy today. It dies down tonight, and then very windy pretty much all day Saturday. So if you're going to be out for Rails and Ales tonight, you're going to be wanting to bundle up. It's going to be cold, and that wind can just cut right through your clothes if you're not layered up correctly.
Quickly, for more news, tune in this evening, 5 p.m. for NCW Live Evening News with our host and anchor, Grant Olson. And if you spot news out there that you'd like to share with us, we always have the hotline available to you. That phone number, if we can pull that graphic up, is 888-NCWL. You can also share with us any news ideas or topics or issues you'd like us to cover on NCW Live, contacting us on Facebook or Twitter. You can also contact us on our website. Just click that little contact button and share with us your ideas. And as always, you can use our email address. That's preferred at news@ncwlife.com.
News Tip Hotline. Please leave a detailed message as well as your name and contact information.
Now, there you have it right there. That's the voicemail.
I've never done that before.
Yeah.
I thought, why don't I call it while you're talking about it? So it works.
Thanks for that.
Yeah, you're quite welcome. Big week. I know I got to cut you loose. I know you have a big plans for the weekend. I know you got lots going on.
Do I?
The news with Grant Olson comes your way at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and 10 o'clock tonight.
You
and
know
don't
my
forget,
lifestyle, right?
Don't forget, a lot of people have Monday off. Monday is President's Day. We'll be here, by the way. Just a quick heads up. We're doing a show on Monday, but boy, it isn't going to be very good. Just letting you know about that. 25 minutes after the hour. Sports is right around the corner, the obscure holiday of the day. We have birthdays. We got Today in History. Everyone is entitled to Mike McNally's opinion. And if they haven't fled the building yet, Steve Robinson and Kristen Lodge will talk Piper's Public Market in the back half of the show. Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. We'll be back in 1 minute. Don't go anywhere.
I'm Grant Olson, and you're watching the NCW Life channel.
I'm Eric Grandstrom with NCW Life Sports.
I'm NCW Life News Director Steve Hare.
Catch us on Local Tel Channel 12.
You can watch us on Charter Channel 19 or stream us live on ncwlife.com.
Follow us on Twitter and like us on Facebook.
Where we cover the local high schools, the Wenatchee Wild, and the pro teams out of Seattle.
On Saturday, we have a 90% chance of rain.
Catch it all right here on the NCW Life channel.
My name's Robert Duff. Current and previous occupation is architect, engineer, and a lawyer. Grew up here in Washington, born in Moses Lake. When I first came to CVCH, was looking for a place to get some dental work done. I was really impressed with the people at the counter. I mean, they were just on top of it. It only took her like 15 minutes to do their job. I didn't feel anything. The technology is so great, you don't even realize you're at the dentist. These people are so professional. I would have any one of these people in my home for dinner. These people are family.
And welcome back, 27 minutes after the hour on this Friday edition of Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. We move down the road with sports, and we'll start out with the Les Schwab Prep Scoreboard results from last night. We'll start with boys basketball. Aniette's season came to an end in the Central Washington B1B District Tournament at Eastmont Junior High. They fell to Moses Lake Christian, the final 35-26 in a low-scoring affair. Pateras, meanwhile, won the district championship. Way to go, boys, 58-45 over Riverside Christian. The wild ride for the Wenatchee Panthers came to an end in Sunnyside last night. Wenatchee fell in the district semifinals to the Grizzlies. The final was 57-48. Darius Carlson leading the Panthers with 11 points. Moses Lake also came up short in its upset bid. They fell to Davis 77-65. And girls play yesterday. Girls play at the Central Washington B1B District Tournament at Eastmont Junior High. Aniette, the district champions, a lopsided 72-23 victory over Riverside Christian. Pateras stayed alive with a 46-40 win over Wilson Creek. Very busy prep schedule. Everybody into the pool. Wenatchee and Eastmont participating in the State Swimming and Diving Championships today and tomorrow at the King County Aquatic Center in Federal Way. The Panthers have a huge contingent going. 16 participants. Wildcats have 5 taking part. Prelims are today, finals tomorrow. Just down the road in Tacoma, it is Mac Classic 30. XXX in the Tacoma Dome. Look at your screen. Those are all the locals participating. And as you can see, Cascade and Chelan are bringing quite a number of wrestlers, and we want to wish the best of luck to Adrian Vivacano of Eastmont, the Wildcats, participating at the 132-pound. Also, the ladies are wrestling as well. Wenatchee and Eastmont have a couple of representatives. Wenatchee's Emily Carroll has her first 135-pound match at 11:52 this morning. Eastmont's Flora Morrow has her first date at 145, and that is at 12:32 this afternoon. We'll keep up to date on all the wrestlers and all the swimmers through our Facebook page this weekend. Also, more basketball to be played in the District 5-6 2B tournament in Granger. Brewster faces Tri-Cities Prep in the boys semifinal. That's at 4. Waterville-Mansfield will try to stay alive in the consolation bracket. They got Lake Roosevelt tonight at 7:30. And if you want to watch high school basketball right here in the Valley, you got a chance to do so. At Eastmont Junior High, you have a chance to check out Riverside Christian and Moses Lake. They play tonight at 6 in a last chance at regionals game. That's the same situation for the Riverside Christian and Pateras girls tonight at 7:30. Also at Eastmont Junior High, the District 5-6 2B tournament in Granger features White Swan and Lake Roosevelt in the semifinals. Brewster and DeSales will play in the consolation bracket. Liberty Bell and Tenasket also play in loser-out basketball. And then the Glue crossover games tomorrow for the Caribou Trail League in the Northeast A. Cashmere will take on Lakeside out of 9 Mile Falls at 5 o'clock at the Ron Doe Memorial Gym in Cashmere. Omak has a home game against Newport. On the girls' side, Omak will host Freeman, while Okanagan is on the road at Lakeside. The Cashmere girls, of course, have already punched their ticket to the regionals by winning the district championship last weekend. And finally, the Wenatchee Wild finish up their regular season home schedule this weekend at the Town Toyota Center. Trail is in town for games tonight and tomorrow night with the puck dropping officially at 7:05. Wenatchee has the 3rd best record in the entire BCHL which is good enough for third in their own division. Behind Penticton and Vernon, the Wild wrap up the regular season with a couple of games on the road next weekend, and then it's playoff time. 30 minutes after the hour, 30 degrees outside of our studios. Windy today and very windy on Saturday. Today is the Obscure Holiday. It's always celebrated on February 16th. Today is Do a Grouch a Favor Day. We all know grouches. We all can be grouches at times. I mean, who's kidding who? Everybody has a grouchy part of their personality, regardless of how much they want to tamper it down. Some people are just grouches all the time. One of my very best friends, we go all the way back to when we were 5 or 6 years old, is just the most grouchy, cantankerous guy you'll ever want to meet, and yet he's one of my best friends. Most of us are just occasional grouches, most of it brought on by lack of sleep or the weather or whatever. So if you know somebody who's a perpetual grouch or just the occasional grouch, do them a favor today. What that favor is between you and the grouch in your life. 31 minutes after the hour. Oscar the Grouch just reminded me I forgot to take the garbage out today. Garbage day. Darn it. February 16th. Today in history on this date, 95 years ago today, Howard Carter unsealed the chamber of the Pharaoh King Tutankhamun. They opened it up on this date 95 years ago today. They found 5,398 items, including a solid gold coffin. It's the way to be buried, right? The famous mask, the face mask that we're all familiar with, thrones, archery bows. They found trumpets, chalice. They found food. They found wine. They found sandals, and they found underwear, all in that tomb. It took them 10 years to catalog all the items. King Tut's tomb unsealed on this date 95 years ago today. Happy 50th birthday to 911. On this date, 50 years ago today, the first 911 emergency telephone system was put into place and operational in Haleyville, Alabama. Haleyville, Alabama, and every year they hold the annual 911 festival. The 911 telephone system went into effect 50 years ago today, and now, of course, it's everywhere. And it was 13 years ago today, a very dark day in the world of hockey fans. 13 years ago today, the NHL said we're simply not going to play hockey anymore. The NHL, of course, had locked out the players. They hadn't started playing hockey in September when they were supposed to. September became October, became November, became January. The stalemate continued to go, and finally by the middle of February they said we have to make a decision or we're not going to be able to get a season in, and they decided to heck with it. 1,230 games went unplayed. There was no 2004-2005 hockey season, and there was no, as you can see on your screen, Stanley Cup champion that year. 33 minutes after the hour. One historic birthday to get to today. You may not know the name Henry Brooks Adams. Henry Brooks Adams came from the Adams political family, John Adams, John Quincy Adams, on down the line. But he wrote a book called The Education of Henry Adams, and he said, I wrote this great book. I think it's pretty good. You can't print it until I die. In 1918, he died. In 1919, they published it, and in 1919, it won the Pulitzer Prize. And in 1999, it was named the #1 English language nonfiction book of the 20th century. #1, called The Education of Henry Adams. A couple of quotes from that book. Chaos breeds life, order breeds habit. A parent gives life, but as a parent gives no more. A murderer takes a life, but his deed stops there. A teacher affects eternity. A teacher can never tell where his or her influence stops. And my favorite, practical politics consists of ignoring facts. Henry Brooks Adams, born on this date in 1838. 34 minutes after the hour. Everybody is entitled to Mike Magnotti's opinion. We'll find out together what's on Mike's mind, because I forgot. And then we'll have Kristen Lodge and Steve Robinson from Pybus Public Market. It's where community meets. They're going to be up next right here on this very program. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley live from Studio 7 in downtown Wenatchee on the NCW Life channel.
RLS Productions is proud to bring to the NCW Life channel the Concerts in the Gardens Summer Series held at Omi Gardens. The series features performances from Rare Earth's Peter Rivera, Heart by Heart, Too Slim and the Tail Draggers, The Infinity Project, the Wenatchee Swingin' Big Band, and a whole host of other great acts. Tune in Wednesdays at 1:30 and 7 p.m. and Fridays and Saturdays at 10:30 a.m. and 9 p.m. RLS Productions Concerts in the Gardens Summer Series, only on the NCW Life channel.
Bay Equity Home Loans in Wenatchee, serving all of North Central Washington.
We make it our priority to learn all about your financial needs. Whether you're buying your first home, refinancing, or want a reverse mortgage, our mortgage professionals are ready to guide you through the loan process. We have a wide variety of loan products to fit your family's needs. Call Bay Equity Home Loans of Wenatchee today for your pre-approval. 509-888-0466.
Quality, comfort, style, service. This is the Crown Furniture difference for more than 50 years. Their commitment to you is to provide the best furniture and mattresses the industry has to offer at a great price. Shop Crown Furniture today to experience the difference. And remember, free setup, delivery, and haul away in their service area is just another way they show they care.
Hi, I'm Cordell Schroeder, owner of East Wenatchee Mobile Storage.
If you're thinking about making a move anytime soon, check out the East Wenatchee Mini Storage brand new mobile storage service. They drop it off at your location, you pack it, and they pick it up and store it in their protected warehouse at East Wenatchee for as long as you need. When you're ready, they'll drop it off at your new home or office. East Wenatchee Mini Storage is excited to offer this brand new service to our region.
Call 509-884-8643 or find us on the web at ewministorage.com.
Hey there, Wenatchee. I'm Sean Lee, and I'm inviting you to come down and check out what we're all about at Badger Mountain Brewing.
Great beer, good food, and an endless source of entertainment for the whole family. Our Honey Blonde beer is flying off the shelves at your local grocery store. But I tell you what, it's even better on tap. And while you're here, try our signature Badger sauce with one of our delicious meals. Whether you're in the mood for a wrap, salad, pizza, or nachos, Badger Mountain Brewing has what you're looking for.
Papa Murphy's presents a fresh take on fresh. Here's the deal. If it comes from a freezer, not fresh. Box, not fresh. Bag, not fresh. Fresh means just chopped vegetables. Cheese grated by us daily. Fresh means we don't even have ovens, because you have an oven. So you can feel good about feeding it to your home bake our most popular pizza, a large cowboy, topped with pepperoni, sausage, mushrooms, and olives. Just $12. Papa Murphy's. Love at 425 degrees.
Hey, this is Mike Mad Dog Magnotti, and everybody is entitled to my opinion. Hey, you want to do something great? Do you want to make a real difference in the world? Now, when you shuffle off this mortal coil, do you want to have made a significant impact that means it was important that you were even here at all? Now, let me give you a tip I'm passing along from Mother Teresa. She said, if you want to change the world, go home and love your family. Now, she's right, you know. There's nothing more important a person can do than be a good husband and wife, a good mother or father. I used to think that it didn't matter if I cured cancer or ended world hunger. If I wasn't a good husband and dad, I'd be a failure. Well, I'm working on it, and I hope you are too. This is Mike Mad Dog Magnotti, and that's my opinion.
Every golfer aims to play their best, and smart golfers turn to the Golfer's Edge to get the Golfer's Edge. PGA professional Ed Payne has you covered from tee to green. You can work on your swing or play 18 in air-conditioned comfort on the golf simulator. Tanya's Corner has all the apparel the golfer needs at sale prices. And Ed can even rebuild your favorite set of clubs or custom make you a brand new set. Ask how you can qualify for a free 30-minute lesson at the Golfer's Edge on Mission between Kittitas and Yakima.
I'm Jenny Rojanasatian, and this is Guada TV. Every week we will be bringing you a first look at North Central Washington business, tech, and education news. You'll hear from local influencers and innovators who live right here in the Valley. Together, we'll discuss hot topics, current events, and resources that can support your business, our schools, and this community. Join me every week, and let's get inspired.
Dear Mary Maids, just got home from a trade show and I didn't have time to pick up the house. Kids made chili. Jeff did a mud run. Oh, and Winston shredded Teddy's bed. Again, please clean it the best you can. Oh, except for the statue Max made for me. Thanks, Abby.
Hi, Abby. Clean kitchen, clean bath, clean floor, naughty cat. Poor Teddy. The statue is precious. You should keep it forever. See you next time, Mary Maids.
Family means something in these parts. Family owned and operated means even more. At Rose Tractor, you're buying more than a product. You're buying years of knowledge through multiple generations. It means you can count on Rose for quality products, quality repairs, and folks who stand behind the products they sell. From your job site to your home to rentals and repairs to new outdoor power equipment, Rose Tractor is growing with you throughout the years. Rose Tractor, quality brands you can trust year after year.
Ticklish. 40 minutes after the hour on this Friday edition of Wake Up Wenatchee Valley, the 16th day of February. Steve Robinson is no stranger to this program. He's been on this show on numerous occasions. Steve runs the day-to-day operations of the Pybus Public Market, and whenever he pays us a visit, he brings somebody on from the Pybus Market Charitable Board, and he has done so today. He has brought Kristen Lodge along with him. Welcome back to the show, Steve. Welcome to the show for the first time, Kristen.
Thanks for having us. Dan, great to be here.
Lots going on at the Pybus. You know, Pybus is where community meets, and it turns out that's not a slogan. It turns out it's the real deal.
It is the deal.
Yeah, every time I go down, regardless of the day, if the doors are open, I walk in there, it's just fun. The chili cook-off was such a blast, wasn't it?
It was great, but you know, it's because the community has supported us. So that's really what's made it work, is local residents, your viewers, being supportive of what we do.
So all 7 people who watch this show are supporting the Pybus Public Market. Lots going on. Let's jump right into off the deep end. The big remodel going on. This was something that you wanted to see happen almost from the get-go. The Pybus is a wonderful, beautiful building, and there was that one little afterthought, that little brick cinder block room that turns out was very popular, and it realized we need to do something with this, and the general offices. So Kristen, I'll let you address that.
Yeah.
What exactly is going on right now at the Pybus, and we're going to bring up some pictures as you talk.
This remodel has been a dream from the beginning. Like you said, our foundation, Pybus is a nonprofit, our mission is to educate, support, inspire, and create community, and we do that by bringing the community together. And this space it's cold in the winter, it's hot in the summer, not a lot of insulation and no windows. So we've been bringing that community together in a kind of frosty environment. And this remodel is just going to help us better serve the community by bringing everyone together in a more comfortable environment. So it's pretty exciting. You can see how things have changed there. This is a rendering of what we're moving towards. Big,
that is so much better
right?
than
Isn't
what
it
it
great?
is
Big
now.
Nana doors
Yeah.
that are going to fold open to that patio, which has pretty much been useless because there's no access to it. Lots of big windows, so you can see just our beautiful loop trail and the Columbia River. And we're just really inspired by this. We're super excited to share it with the community and bring the community together there.
So this would be a view looking at the Pybus, at the building that already
north
exists.
side,
Right.
yes,
Mhm.
yes. So new loading dock there, but really that view of the windows and how we're going to be able to just reach out into our environment is just really exciting.
I think a lot of people don't realize there's really 2 buildings down at Pybus. Pybus Market itself was built in the mid-1940s. And then you've got the annex building that Kristen and you are talking about right now, probably built in the mid-1960s. So it's the annex building that has no heat, no air conditioning, poor insulation, as Kristen says, and no views of our gorgeous river and loop trail. So this remodel, I call it a bare bones, kind of no frills remodel, will bring the ambiance and the creature comforts of the annex building up in line with Pybus Market itself. So it's needed.
Oh yeah, no heat, no air conditioning is a big problem. And so the old conference room where you and I have met and taught on a number of occasions, that's going to be where the HVAC bones are going to be, so you can bring in HVAC system.
Yeah, exactly.
So we serve a lot of different kind of groups in the community. We have sort of 4 main areas of impact: arts and music, health and education, family-friendly activities, and then our support for other nonprofits. And sometimes that means we've got toddlers at indoor playground with the city of Wenatchee, and they're crawling around on the floor, and it's cold down there. Sometimes we've got the math club there, and they're telling their kids, bring a coat for the competition because it's going to be cold, right? Sometimes we've got other groups that are meeting in the summer, and it's too hot to be comfortable. So we're just really excited about how this is going to inspire community in our new space. We're all better off when we're able to gather, and that collaboration of ideas is just going to be even stronger.
One of the great, I think, unknowns in the community or mysteries is this, what Kristen has just touched on, and that's that Pybus Market itself is a nonprofit, a 501c3. And our job, our mission is to both operate Pybus Market, but to do so in a way that benefits the community and other nonprofits. And so our businesses that we rent to, Fire and Ice and South and the Brew Pub, they're for profit, but so they have a different mission. But ours is to educate, inspire, support community activities. And those are examples of what we try to do when Kristen references robotics and STEM activities and indoor playground and, you know, blood drives, things like that.
The little room that was, as you said, it was built in the 60s and was almost an afterthought. Were you surprised about how popular that little meeting room became when Pybus opened 5 years ago? And well, we have this room over here. It's just kind of just going to be over there, and we'll see what happens. And all of a sudden, people wanted to use it. Was that surprising?
It has been, yes. So a good surprise. And what's really surprising is the popularity of it, given the fact that it doesn't have HVAC. So honestly, last summer we did a blood drive, and the Red Cross said to us, the lead nurse said, we've got to close down early because it's too warm in here. So, or as Kristen says, you know, we've got indoor playground going on right now, Monday through Thursday, and the toddlers are kind of crawling around and playing on stuff, and they've got to wear coats to do that. So surprised, pleasantly so, but I think it'll just become even more popular once the creature comforts are there.
So as Steve said, when the market is successful, when our community comes and supports our vendors there, every dollar goes back into our foundation, and we just put that right back into the community, those activities that we have to bring everyone together. So the annex has really kind of housed the foundation. We're the four walls that are kind of around what we're able to do as a charitable foundation. It's just been really exciting, and we just think we're going to be able to serve our mission and the community in this space.
The architectural renderings of what it's going to look like when it's all over, especially on the interior, I just love it. I love opening it up to the Columbia River because there's this wall there. As you mentioned before, you have a beautiful patio, a deck that overlooks Riverfront Park, and they're on a boat launch that is kind of no man's land because it's not easy to get to, and it's...
I mean, you're absolutely right. I mean, we have this Apple Capitol Loop Trail that's in part a signature icon, I think, of the community, and the river, of course, that's served us for, what, centuries and centuries and centuries, and yet we have no view of it. So this will change that in a way that will be, I think the community will really embrace.
We've talked a little bit about how popular that space is, but we haven't talked about what that means and the support that we need. So as a foundation, we have been able to dedicate 60% of the remodel costs. And we're turning to the community and asking for support for that remaining 40%. People that are interested, that are watching today, can go onto our website, pybuspublicmarket.org, learn more about what we're doing, and hopefully give. Corporate sponsorships or individual donations are just really important to see this project through.
Who's the general contractor and who was the architect who did those drawings?
So consistent with the whole ambiance of Pybus, it's local. So Hale & Long in East Wenatchee is the general contractor. They've been around a long time. They're great people to work with. And our architect is Brad Brisbine from Mark Neal & Associates, also local.
So you went, not only did you go local, but you went with two of the best that are out there.
They're both very good.
What's the timetable? I'm sure this is very accelerated because it's such a busy room, and you still want to be able to conduct daily business, and while the hammering and the nailing and the sawing and all that stuff is going on.
Right, it's super aggressive. Do you want to go through that?
Absolutely. So we've started stripping out the rooms that you've seen are kind of the less rooms, going to be smaller conference spaces. This week actually will mark the big strip out of our larger event space, and we have a really aggressive construction schedule. We're looking at a 9-week close down, and at the end of 9 weeks, at the end of April, we'll be ready to open back up to the community.
So just a little over 2 months. That's fast.
It is fast.
It's crazy.
So there's probably listeners out there and viewers of yours that are part of the WSU Master Gardener Plant Sale, and it's on Saturday, April 28th, and we'll be open for that.
There'll be a cool ribbon cutting ceremony.
We'll probably do a grand opening, sir.
Yeah, I know where you can get a giant novelty oversized scissors. My brother keeps some in his office across the street.
I think your brother might be part of that opening. Yeah.
This is the printout of the picture that you saw earlier of of the old conference room. Did you write this, Steve?
I did.
This is good.
That old conference room in that photo you showed is very sentimental to me, because really it was that room, right, where where the Walkers and some of the founding board members sat, and we conceived the idea of PIBAS. We contracted with our initial tenants, all the marketing activities that have gone on over the years, the cook-off you referenced, the blood drives, the STEM activities, robotics, Legos, all of those events were essentially concocted in that room. So that room, it doesn't exist anymore except in that photo, but it has a sentimental feel to me.
You closed out your little statement here with a few tears and said, "Oh, if this room could only talk." Well, unbeknownst to you, when that room was first built, we installed a bugging system, Steve. We got together with the Republic. And Kat, go ahead and roll some of the audio from some of the more contentious meetings that we have on. We don't have that available. That's my bad on that. So do you have, as you mentioned before, things will continue on at the PIBAS despite all the things that's going on in the event center. Does that cause some shuffling of schedules? People who had already booked that room and then you went ahead and decided to go push the button?
It has, and so we should do a call out to some of those events and event organizers that we had to go through during this 9-week window where we're down for construction, and we had to cancel or reschedule or rebook them. And so kudos to, say, the indoor playground, which is moving their activities to the city community center for a month of March when we're doing the remodel. There's others too. They know who they are, and we're deeply appreciative for them bumping their events so we could do the remodel.
And PIBAS is still going to be a really busy place. Yeah. A lot of the events that we had scheduled are going forward as planned, and we're moving them into the concourse.
Right.
The PIBAS Charitable Board, how did you, hi, Kristen and Steve, you want to join us? Mike and Joanne call you. How'd you get on the board?
Oh, that's a great question. I come from a long history of marketing and fundraising of development work, and I've worked for the University of Washington and Providence Medical Center, and being in Wenatchee, I was looking for an outlet for that, and I just love being a part of the community. But there's something really special about PIBAS that reminds me of the campus at UW. There's just a spark. It's hard to describe, but the way the community comes together and feeds off one another is just really special.
PIBAS Public Market has a vibe. That's what I call it.
It's got a good vibe. I just wanted to be involved there. Yeah.
So you were recruited, or how did you end up on the board?
I think you were recruited. Right? I think we bent our arm.
Yeah. It's a great board, and you got a great cross-reference of people, some heavy hitters. Mike and Joanne, of course, still involved. Yeah. Some of the originals, Craig Homechek, I know, is still hanging around there every once in a while.
He's our president now.
Yeah, and you got Gil Sparks, and you got yourself, and you got Corey, and you got Catherine. You got some really top-flight people on your board.
Well, we do, and that's really important to reinforce, is the fact that this is not a Mike and Joanne project anymore. It was. I mean, they're the heart and soul and spirit of launching this thing, getting it up and running. But they've made a conscious effort to say this is a community, essentially community-owned enterprise and asset. Yeah. And so that's why, consistent with that thinking, they went out and recruited people like Kristen and Corey and Gil and other individuals so it really is a community-based board of directors now that will hold carefully in their hands the future of PIBAS Market and the charitable activities that go on there.
We have a 21-person board, and everyone's really active. They're doing a lot to help bring this together. I'm sure Steve has talked about how the PIBAS staff has a pretty skeleton crew. I just worship them, the things that they're able to do with such a small group, and we're just so appreciative. But the board's active as well, and it's been a fun collaboration.
And Steve seems to be there all the time. I know you took like a week off a couple of weeks ago, probably just to
and it was devastating.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, basically, you don't know this, Steve, but they actually just closed.
It's a labor of love, yeah. And so all of us associated the board. We have a great set of volunteers that we call ambassadors that work the information booth. The staff, I mean, we do it because of what Kristen just said. There's a connection there. You feel good going to work. And so it's fun. And if work is fun, it really isn't work, right?
Good. How many hours a week do you put down there, Steve?
I don't work that hard.
No, you do.
I don't.
You do.
But it's not work. It's fun, right? And you ask our volunteers, our ambassadors. We've got some couple people that do some janitorial work and maintenance work that are all volunteers. The board's engaged and doing some both fundraising that Kristen talked about, as well as other activities associated with marketing. And so it's, if it's fun, it isn't work, honest.
When people say from out of town, almost everybody in North Central Washington has been to Pybus Public Market over the last 5 years or so. The first time out of towners, what are their impressions when they walk into that building and they feel the vibe and the lights and the businesses and the people milling about and visiting?
There's a warm and inviting feeling, and what often happens when you see a new person come in that's not been there before is they'll look up in the trusses and kind of just, and it's just in a warm, comfortable, inviting feeling. And that's what the words that oftentimes first-timers say is, it feels good in here. It really is where community meets. And I think that's a very apropos motto for us.
Would Hilton be building a hotel next door if the Pybus didn't exist? I think that's a pretty easy question, but they wouldn't.
They would not, no.
Yeah.
And that's what's really gratifying too about being associated with Pybus. I hope from a board level and the staff level is that the waterfront and the community is benefiting, right? Downtown's benefiting, the waterfront's going to be developed, and I think if you blink and come back in 5 years, let's pick a number, I don't think you'll recognize the waterfront. The vacant lot to our south will be developed, the gravel lot will be developed, the hotel will be active, and there'll be more parking down along the waterfront. I think eventually the connections with downtown and Wenatchee Avenue will improve. So it's just...
any of that would be possible without the walkers and without that space. When we gather together, we're able to create community and feed off one another's vision and compassion, and we're all better when we get together that way.
Speaking of gathering together, Empty Bowls, benefiting Chelan Douglas Community Action Council, is the third or fourth Empty Bowls is this Sunday, right?
This is the fourth, and so that's a great example of the charitable activities that we do. We partner with nonprofits. This time it's Community Action Council. It's from 1 to 4, Sunday at Pybus, and you, for a $10 donation, right, you get a bowl and paint and some professional instructions. You paint the bowl, and then you leave it, that gets fired, and then you come back later in March at a dinner at the high school, and you help support hunger and homeless causes in the community. So great example of us partnering with another nonprofit to benefit the community.
We get this little sheet every, when does Linda send these out to us? Wednesdays?
Wednesdays,
Wednesdays,
yes.
And I love these things. This is just the week. There's so many events here, you can't even list them all. Is there a time when a nonprofit who does good work, say, Steve, we'd really like to do an event at your business, and do you have to say no sometimes?
We do.
That's
so
gotta be hard.
it is hard, but we work. So our strategy in the early years was just never say no, really, to try to say yes to everything until we found out what resonates with the community. Now, because of the popularity, the length of that list, we try to find a venue, a date. It's challenging sometimes.
This is going to sound so silly. Can there be a point where Pybus becomes too popular, too big? You know, people will walk in the door.
And good problem to have. Good problem to have. So there'll be staffing challenges because we're pretty skeletally staffed today, and I don't know what this remodeled events room is going to do. I think it's going to be super popular and probably pose a challenge to the staff, but it's one we welcome.
I think the board is really at kind of a precipice. It's just a really exciting time when we get together. We have big things to talk about, and staff support and programming is next on the list for sure.
Staggered terms with expirations for the board members, so there's constant blood coming in, new blood, new thoughts, new ideas. Is that correct?
Yeah, that is. Yeah.
Cool. So if there's somebody out there, one of our 7 viewers, who say, I think I have a skill set that could help the Pybus Charitable Board, to get a hold of you and say, when's the next, I'd like to get involved one way or the other?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
we
for sure.
welcome with open arms, yes.
Board members are listed on our website. My contact information's on the website. All of the events we talk about are on the website, so we'd welcome suggestions, input, offers of volunteer, whether it's ambassadors or maintenance of facilities or board members.
And donations. There's a great Donate Now button, super easy to use, and we'd just love that support.
And you'll be, with Rails and Ales right up the block, you'll be hopping tonight, buddy.
Oh, it'll be busy tonight.
That'll be fun.
Take the rest of the day off.
Oh, thank you.
That's on me, I really do. Everybody have a great weekend. Pop by the Pybus this weekend as where community meets, all right? We'll see you Monday. Till then, take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Now, we'll see if I can get to you.